Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear friends, welcome to Amiri Online English Classes. This is me, Muhammad Ismail Toefl Amiri, your English talker. For asking questions, please visit through email, otherwise YouTube channel, WhatsApp number, and Telegram number that I have shared with you. Here we have made the examination presentations, and our resources are Toefl Ibt Barons 15 edition. By Educational Stories and Barons. Here the examination question. There may you have heard something about the examination rules and regulation, and what is especially the test of TOEFL. The TOEFL IBT test measure a test taker's ability to combine listening, reading, speaking, and writing skills. Where it matters most in the classroom, it gives your institution access to millions of students who have proven they have what it takes to succeed in an English-speaking academic environment. That's most important in the TOEFL section, because first of all, how you can prepare for the TOEFL exam. Some rules and regulations that I will share with you in next slides, and some personal information as get to know the format, pick up a study guide, create a study routine, and also read and listen to English outside of the TOEFL. It most helps you in taking the TOEFL examination rules and regulation, which you become a succeed student too. Practice time writing and practice note taking, because they are most significant in at the time of examination when you are as a TOEFL test taker. And dear friends, we have a question related to examination, that how long is the testing session. The TOEFL IBT takes about 4 to 4.5 hours to administer, including the time required for giving directions and the break between the listening and speaking sections. And we have to say something about the rules and regulation in time management. First of all, you have in reading section 54 till 72 minutes, and you will be questioned 30 till 40 questions, and read passage and respond to the questions. And also in listening section you have 41 till 55 minutes. It relates and stands on the listening section and types of audio, and you will be questioned 28 till 39 questions, and answer questions about brave lecturers or classroom discussions. And after that you have 10-minute breaks. That 10 minutes breaks will help you to make some personal note for your speaking and writing section. And in speaking section you have 17 minutes with 4 tasks, and talk about a familiar topic and discuss material you read and listen to. They are most important, and in speaking section you can take note, and the taking note skill is most important. And the writing section, 15 minutes are required, and with 2 tasks: read a passage, listen to a recording, and type your response. So by the way, dear friends, we have another question, that what kinds of questions are founded on the TOEFL IBT. The majority of the questions on the IBT are multiple choices, we will talk about, and some computer assisted questions are also on the TOEFL IBT. These questions have special directions on the screen, and you will have many examples of them in the model tests in the TOEFL guidebooks. And there are, as I experienced, there are 5 types of questions asked with the multiple choice format, as main idea, detail, purpose, organization, and employee. They are most significant and kinds of questions. Another questions format asks about details, but you need to choose 2 till 3 answers from the options given. And the third question format is a table with options related to the question asked about. And another question that we are having, are all of the TOEFL IBT tests are same? Unlike some computer-based tests that present questions based on your responses to previous questions, the TOEFL IBT is a linear test, and that means that on the same form all of the test questions are the same. More than one form may be administered on the same day, and that's why TOEFL IBT scores are accepted by more than 11,000 universities and institutions in entire 116 countries in the world. The TOEFL IBT test is administered via 3 testing options. Each option provides the same valid and reliable TOEFL IBT test, and identical in content and scoring. And the TOEFL test pattern is generally the same for all test taker. There is no any distinguish among them, and you start with the reading and listening sections as I previously mentioned. Have a quick 10-minute break, and then move to the speaking and writing sections. Depending on which section you get experimental questions, you will have either a longer reading or either listening section. Dear friends, as in previous slide that I mentioned, that you will face with a reading and listening sections that will be longer. Here we are answering the question that why are some of the reading and listening sections are longer. Some of the tests include questions that are being field tested for use in future exams. Test developers include the experimental questions for either the reading section or either the listening section. Your answers to these experimental questions will be calculated as part of your score, and it's more important how we can prove it that it's significant experimental questions. But you must do your best on all the questions, because you will not know which questions are experimental and which questions are test questions that will be scored. For example, you may be taking the TOEFL IBT someone who has experimental questions in reading section, but you may have experimental questions in listening. For this reason, your friend's test may have a longer reading section and your test may have a longer listening section. That's the big distinction among reading and listening section in format of longest. The experimental questions may be at the beginning, middle or end of the section, and you will not aware from that. Try your best on all sections, and suppose it all will be the question that will be scored, but remember that experimental questions are not be scored. So another question that we will cover, may I choose the order of the sections on my TOEFL? That is it eligible for me that I choose one order, like I wanna take the speaking section first or reading section first? No, you may not choose the order reading, listening, speaking sections and writing sections are tested in that order on the TOEFL, with a 10-minute break between the listening and speaking section. So another question that we are having, may I take notes? You are permitted to take notes and use them to answer the questions on the IBT, and you will be given a scratch paper for the purpose when you enter the test room, and your tests will not be graded. They will be collected and shared after the test. As the answer is yes, you may take notes on every section of the TOEFL IBT. According to ATS, the creator of the TOEFL, you can take notes throughout the entire test using the paper provided by the administrator or the office that you are taking TOEFL IBT test. And at the end of the testing, all paper is collected and destroyed at the test center because of ensuring the test security.